Welcome back to Real America. Yesterday, hundreds of anti-Trump radical left and Antifa protesters gathered in the streets of Washington, D.C., right near the White House to try and cause more chaos. Multiple Antifa and radical left demonstrators were arrested, several of them lighting fires throughout the streets. Officers remained at the protest to try and control and quell the chaos, which carried on throughout the night into the early morning hours. Now, with that in mind, the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark Milley said the military will take no part in presidential election disputes. Troops will not be deployed to resolve a dispute and said that they will remain apolitical and will only support law enforcement if they are asked. General Milley said, quote, "We support law enforcement, whether that is at the federal, state, or local levels. We do not police America's streets." And a very good point to that, because if the chaos does break out on a larger scale, those local police forces would need backup from either the National Guard or active duty military. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Joining me now to recap some of the results from last night around the country, the president of the Vinci Group and a veteran political consultant. We had him on the show last week and asked him to come back the day after, Mark Smith, because I had a feeling I would need his expertise. Mark, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You either got a nice backdrop or you're relaxing and chilling the day after a crazy election. Are you in the woods at your cabin relaxing, or?
We're out on a farm, and I thought I would, just try to give that glow to everyone, because I think we're going to need it for the next few weeks.
Where do we begin chatting? So, Mark, we don't know where this is going to play out. This could this be over by the end of the day? I don't know. It looks like we're going to have a recount in Wisconsin. Pennsylvania, we won't know for days. Michigan now could be a recount as well. But I'm pretty sure we can call, and I called them last night, North Carolina, Arizona, and Georgia. I still say we'll go to the president. You're an expert at this stuff. Am I wrong? Am I close? Am I right?
No, I think you're 100% correct. I think you also add to that list Alaska. I think there are also multiple Senate seats and House seats that have not been called. And what I ultimately see are certainly challenges in Michigan, challenges in Wisconsin, and I think you will ultimately see a challenge to the legality of how the governor of Pennsylvania changed, or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania changed its law without its legislature.
Right.
That's a legitimate legal point. So Joe Biden is not, in the White House yet, and Mr. Trump is not out at this point.
Exactly. And so I don't want folks to give up hope, get frustrated, get angry.
No.
But our side never does. Let's be real. Conservatives don't jump out in the streets and act wild and crazy. No, we don't do that stuff. We wait.
We will prevail. That's what I've been telling people all morning. I didn't mean to interrupt you. We will prevail. I've been telling people just, be calm, stay focused, we'll prevail. And I will tell you, we picked up a lot of House seats. Thank goodness for Republican women, because we're going to, more than double that majority in the next Congress. And we picked up the Montana governor seat, like I indicated previously, and we held the Utah governor seat. Mitch McConnell will be in firm control of the United States Senate and narrowing Mrs. Pelosi's pathway to moving a progressive leftist agenda through the Senate and to a signature in the White House.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Mark. Excuse me, because
Yes, sir.
all those polls were so wrong. I mean, we kept hearing they were going to add, they were yakking up 15 to 16 seats in the House. Right. I think we end up right now, and there's not enough to call to say how many, but we're already showing, a net gain of 5 or 6. So that would then,
7.
You have 7? Okay, thank you.
I have 7 right now, and it could go as high as 11.
Wow. So
Yes.
The House, a total loss for them. Yeah, they got control, but now that narrows. And the Senate, how do you see it? We maybe lose 1, or we stay even with our full majority? What do you think?
I think right now we are, so Mrs. Collins is okay. Mr. Tillis will be fine. I think maybe, depending on Arizona, we are at that 52-48, 51-49 level
Okay.
And depending on where John James comes out, we
Right.
could be right back where we are right now at 53-47.
Yeah, he was leading all night, and now Michigan, found a whole bunch of ballots that went all Democrat, and
Yeah,
so
they just sort of
poof,
appeared from somewhere.
100
It's amazing.
and what did I have in my notes? 138.
139,000.
Yeah, 138,
Yeah,
890, and not
yeah.
one of them barely goes for a Republican. I find that hard to
Shocker.
believe. Yeah,
Shocker.
shocker.
Well, I will tell you that pollsters are now the new fax machine, so they're obsolete.
Yes.
They've got to rethink their industry, and the Democrat Senate super PACs, they need to ask for their money back.
They spent a lot of money. My
Oh, indeed.
goodness.
It's unbelievable. I mean, can you imagine what $110 million in Mitch McConnell's race could have done for Democrats in House seats?
Yeah. What about
A
Lindsey's
lot.
race? Lindsey
Oh, it
Graham's
was
race.
unbelievable.
What did they spend on that
104
guy?
million. 104 million. It's unbelievable. And so Mitch McConnell, who is in firm control of the Senate, he has Hollywood and Act Blue to thank for that.
So we know this is what we've learned. We know the pollsters are obsolete, and we already saw that in 16, but this one proved it for sure. They need to go find a new industry. We know that the blue wave did not happen by any stretch of the means there. We know that we gained a bunch in the House for sure. We're going to hold on to the Senate, and this presidential race is not over. And I'm going to go on the record again like I did last night and still say, unless we can show proof there's some fraud and cheating, because I think that's the only way they get this one, the president takes those 4 or 5 actually, 5 out of the last 7 states we're waiting on, and he hits his 271, I think is the number I came up with, or right about there, right? Just over 270, and it's over.
I have him at about 283.
Oh, okay. You were giving
So
him...
in my report to our clients, 287 to 322, but I have him at about 283. I think he'll be able to hit that mark.
And Pennsylvania may not even come into play, because if he takes North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Alaska, and Michigan, you can have Pennsylvania, Sleepy Joe, and your old hometown, not of Scranton. Go ahead. Those 20 won't matter.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, we've expanded our majority in the House of Representatives, which is terrific. We protected our Senate majority, and now we need to finish the job and protect our president to give him a second term.
How long, because I know their states are different, obviously, when it comes to their election rules post-election. So with these recounts, like in Wisconsin, the president and his team of lawyers has a certain amount of time, correct? They got to get in there and say, we want the recount, but each state's different. Some have to then be completed within a week, some within a few days, some have more, correct?
That's correct. And then they can also appeal, as they're doing in Michigan, to the federal courts to say that we're not being given immediate or specific access to ballots, and that is voter disenfranchisement, and that is a serious problem. And there are some unsettling reports coming out of Detroit with pushback on access for GOP officials. It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, I saw some videos online of people that were supposed to be poll watchers even, because both sides are allowed to have folks go in, make sure stuff's legit when it's happening, and then after, making sure the count is legit.
Correct.
And I saw some videos in Pennsylvania and Michigan where poll watchers on the GOP side were denied access. And they even had a form from the county saying, I can come in, and people told them no.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that as well. And,
Wow.
and it's like, well, the courts are going to review that, and that's going to be taken outside of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania or its Attorney General, who called, the state of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for the Vice President about 6 p.m. last night or something like that.
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the evening.
There's
got a
millions
whole bunch
of ballots still to be counted,
back.
which we hope are legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, I'm going to need you more this week probably, but let's hope not. Let's
Yes,
hope
sir.
we get 4 or 5 of these called in the next day or two, and the last 2 won't even matter. And we're looking at another 4 years of President Trump, so we can consider, or rather, we can continue on with our economic growth and putting
Indeed.
America first. Mark Smith, president of the Da Vinci Group and a veteran political consultant. Thank you so much, man, for all the information.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.